Oh, it's okay, Chad. Sometimes mics are a little finicky. That's all right. Okay. Well, welcome to those of you who are able to successfully join by Zoom. For the rest of you, feel free to email any questions, and we'll get back to you that way. So this will be probably a little bit shorter than originally planned, but that's okay. So my name is Dan Zahner with the NHERI NCO, Network Coordination Office, the Facility Scheduling and Operations Coordinator. And today we're going to be going over the Facility Scheduling Dashboard tool for DesignSafe for use on NHERI projects. I can get my slides to work. There we go. Here's a kind of an overview of who all is a part of the NCO for those of you who aren't familiar. The director is Julio Ramirez here at Purdue, and other members include Antonio Bobette, Billy Edge, Dong Zhou, and Joanne Browning. And you can see their roles and responsibilities here, but we're not going to go into too much detail. Then there's myself and Chris Thompson, who also is on the call today, and he is working with the DesignSafe team to get everything up on the website for the tool. So the NCO, basically our role is to provide leadership of the community, the governing bodies, a couple of different committees for that, to coordinate the NHERI components, and also to provide education and community outreach. So just a little bit of overview of what the NCO does. And today we're going to be talking about the scheduling protocol. So this is part of our solicitation to implement the scheduling, the centralized facility scheduling protocol, and to work with all the EF awardees and the user forum, supporting a transparent, open, and equal access to all the facilities. So the NCO will be responsible for scheduling the user time at each EF, including the RAP facility. So make sure that everything is open, transparent, everybody has equal access, don't play favorites, all of that. So today, pretty much the reason why we're here, because everybody wants to have an organized, transparent plan for testing that's easy to put into place, to update, and to keep track of. And from talking to a lot of the EFs, kind of where we came from is a bunch of Excel sheets and floods of emails and Google calendars that tend to get a little burdensome for managing 8 different experimental facilities and a large user base. So the other reason that we're talking today is to avoid any unnecessary paperwork, because nobody likes paperwork. We're not in office space here, so I'm going to avoid this guy. And while we're going through our scheduling protocol, it may look a little scary, but it's a really simple, straightforward process that gets everything organized, keeps everybody on the same page with minimum paperwork. So the first stage, pre-approval phase, involves the research PI and the EF to fill out a couple of documents. The SURF, or Site Utilization Request Form, is an online form and a Word document, depending on how you like to fill it out. Just provide some basic information. Most of the information you have already from filling out your grant proposal to the NSF, whatever funding agency you have for your project, plus a couple of other things we'll get into. And then we have the ESPCC, which is a document that captures each facility that you're going to use for testing, their approvals for your project budget, your timeline, the level of effort you're going to use in your project, safety plan, that kind of thing, making sure everything is documented there. It's mostly just documenting your conversations that you have with your experimental facilities you'll be working with to kind of make sure all your bases are covered. After those are done, then I'll schedule your phases 1 and 2 if you haven't completed them already. So the user training, if you haven't been trained on using the equipment or how to interact with the facility as they're going to be doing the testing, then you'll get some training, and we'll schedule that. The next phase is planning an experimental design, so designing your experimental test plan along with the experimental facility or facilities you plan to use. So that is a document, however you like to put that together. We don't have a set format for that, so whatever best practices you've come up with your experiments in the past is fine, as long as you have a detailed schedule in there that you and the experimental facility agree to. That's the important part. So after you have that document put together, you can send that to me either via email or preferably through the tool that I'll show you in our next slide here. And then I'll schedule out your next phases of the project. So phase 3 is constructing your specimens and instrumentation. Phase 4 is the actual testing itself. Phase 5 is really more of a milestone. It's uploading your data to DesignSafe or making sure that the experimental facility is giving you ownership and access to your data for analysis. And then phase 6 is your specimen demolition, so making sure it's completely removed and all the instrumentation is stored and you're out of the experimental facility space, ready for the next researcher to use. Now we get into the meat and potatoes here, the experimental scheduling tool, the NCO scheduling dashboard. We're using Microsoft Project Online to facilitate this. We have a timeline that's available on DesignSafe. It's publicly available. You don't have to have any licenses to get at it. So you can see exactly what's going on at each facility at any time to plan out when you want to do your research projects. Very transparent, easy to update via mobile devices if that's where you're most comfortable. And if you want to do that, please let me know, because I'd like to get some testing and see how people use the mobile apps. So far, we've just been using the actual web interface to update schedules and things like that. But it'd be good to see if folks want to use that. And ultimately, less paperwork. Great for everybody. So, going to go through the demo now. There's only 3 things that you have to do as a researcher. That's easy. Filling out the SharePoint list, attaching a test plan document to the project when you get to the test plan workflow stage, and then update your project schedule after the schedule's in place and you're doing your testing to make sure that everything is on track and you can communicate out to the rest of the community how your testing is going. So to get there, here's the link. And this is going to be featured more prominently on DesignSafe as we kind of do some iterations on the website. But this is the facility scheduling dashboard underneath the NCO portion of DesignSafe. And there's some more details on the scheduling protocol in case you need to refer back to that. And at the bottom is your currently tracked projects page. So you can see what all projects are going on. This is updated weekly, and so this will change. Oh, it's actually updated this morning. Great. So at the top, you have the summary by facility. So here is the actual pieces of equipment, and it's color-coded by the experimental facilities. And then you can click on one of these Gantt chart bars to filter down here to see exactly what detail that project is, and you'll see over here if it has phases in that project like this one does. You can see when they're doing testing, when they're doing their demolition, when they're doing their construction down here, so you know what's going on at any time. And you can plan payload projects if you want to piggyback onto an existing project. That'd be how you can find information here. So filling out the SURF form, I need to get another window here. This is actually all going to be in a quick start guide that I'll put up on DesignSafe for you as well, so you don't have to remember all this. There's a link up here for the SURF form. Go to. Just put this in. And here's some instructions on how to fill it out, what all the fields mean. But you just click on site utilization request form over on the left, and then new item, and that'll create a new list. And then you just fill in all the relevant information. So the title of your project, please make sure you have the grant award number at the beginning. So if it's an NSF project, you'd have your number there, or non-NSF, so that we can tell which projects are which. And then you have your project title. So that's the format that we'd like to see there to make sure we can tell quickly and easily which projects are NSF and which aren't. Project status, so if you have a new proposal, if it's planning document, resubmitting, or if you're already funded, put in the appropriate information there. Whoever the PI is, put your name there and the institution, type of project, so NSF NHERI, NSF non-NHERI, or an affiliate. Award number again, funding agency, and award information. If you have more than one funding agency, we've got space for up to 3. Then you get down into the experimental facilities that you want to use. We have space for up to 4. So pick one that is applicable to you, and when you're going to do your training, when you're anticipating doing it, if you haven't already. If you have, you can just put the beginning of your award date, just so that we know you've done your training already. And then same thing with your test plan development. If you've done it already, you can put the appropriate dates there, or if you haven't, when you plan on doing that. Down here is the project description. So this would be an appropriate place to put your project abstract from your NSF award information, or any other way of describing your project you like. And this other required field down here is a summary of facility requirements. So the testing that you'll be doing, any instrumentation you'll be needing from the facility. Put some details in here that will help the site manager determine whether your project is going to be feasible or not at their facility, to start that conversation here. And then if you were actually doing this, you'd hit save, it would submit, and then I'd be able to put that into a project directly without any emails, without any further paperwork or anything. It's really quick and easy. And then that actually creates a project within Project Online. So I'll show you here. So once you submit that, excuse me, that SURF form, we'll get you set up with a free license in Project Online so that you can access your projects, update your schedules, attach documents, submit risks and issues, anything that you want to do while your project is in flight. So after that SURF form is submitted, the next time you'll be re-engaging with the project is when you're in workflow stage 4, developing the test plan. So we'll open up one of these here. You just click on the project. And you'll see here, this is just a page to show, it's kind of just a signature page showing that your test plan is complete. So when you're finished developing your experimental test plan with the facility you're going to work with, what you'll do is click on the project site, and you'll upload that either as a PDF, Word document, whatever you like, over here in the documents section. Or you could even create it here if you like. You can create a Word document directly from here, Excel workbook, a OneNote notebook that will be shared with you in the experimental facility. Whatever works best for your workflow and best practices, that's fine. Or you can upload an existing document here. So once you've done that, and you and your experimental facilities are okay with your project test plan, then you go back into, oops, doesn't like me using the back button. There we go. This test planning page, make sure you click the project tab and edit. And you'll just put in the date that you finished this test plan, and you would hit submit. I'm not going to do that now because this is for an actual project, but that would be what you would do. Close and check this back in so that other people can edit it. Then it'll get sent to the next stage of the workflow where you can actually develop your schedule. For For some of these projects, I've just been loading in a simple one line showing testing because they're already projects in flight, and they don't need the detailed planning. They've already got their test plans stored elsewhere. But for new projects, you'll have a template that's already loaded with dependencies for your construction, your testing, your demolition based on input from the experimental facilities on how projects in the past have gone. And those templates can change over time when we get some more information on what works best for you guys. So you'll see a little bit different look here when you submit a new project than just this one line. You don't have to fill all of it out yourself. It'll have phases 3, 4, 5, and 6 for you already loaded. So this is your schedule. And when you're in testing, you can edit it by hitting this edit button. And if everything is going well, all of your steps are going as planned, all your tasks are going as planned, all you have to do is update the percent complete to 100% as soon as it gets 100, and it'll record your correct start and finish dates. If things are not going well for some reason, you have delays in starting or finishing, you can just edit these dates as needed. So if you start a couple days late but are going to finish on time, you just edit the start date, make sure that duration stays the same, changes appropriately. And likewise, if you're going to finish a little later, you change that. And then you hit the publish button, and it automatically will update the system. It'll update that summary view that I showed you before, and also the metrics for the experimental facilities will update because they're measured on how close they adhere to the agreed upon scheduled baselines. So it is important to make sure that you complete these. We like to keep things updated week by week for the schedule and monthly for the metrics, so that when we do our quarterly reporting, either at the facility level or at the NCO level to the NSF to show how well we're spending our NHERI budget, then the metrics will be up to date. So make sure that you at least do that weekly. Don't have to do it every day, but make sure that you get your tasks updated while you're going through testing. So if you have any questions on that, or how to do it, or how to make that work for your workflow, or if this seems too onerous, let me know, and we'll figure out some way to make it work for you. But it is important to make sure these are updated to make the metrics work. And that is it. If you would like to use some of the other features of Project Online, I'd be happy to show you individually. There's some other things that you can get into, like submitting issues or risks, but you don't need to do that if you don't want to. So if you want to use some of those advanced features, or the facility that you're working with has that as part of their workflow, their best practices, we can go through that on an individual basis. That's all I have for this presentation. If you have any questions for those who are on the call, if not, if you're viewing this as a recording, feel free to shoot me an email. My email address will be in this presentation as well as in the Quick Start Guide Word document. Going once, going twice. Okay, well, thank you all for your time today, and I'll let you go early. Get your afternoon back. Thank you very much. Have a great day.